All right, hello and welcome again to our AmeriCorps VISTA application workshop. I'm Ann Oti, a VISTA alum serving from 2015 to 2016 in Harford County, Maryland with the Boys and Girls Clubs of Harford County, Maryland.
And I'm Khadija Carr, also a VISTA alum, serving from 2015 to 2016 in Silver Spring, Maryland with the Community Preservation and Development Corporation. Ann and I are coming to you live from the AmeriCorps VISTA headquarters in Washington, D.C.
Today, we are going to give you an overview of the AmeriCorps VISTA program and a step-by-step walk through the application process, complete with screenshots. If you haven't started an application or a profile yet, you are welcome to start one and follow along with our presentation. Also note that this will be recorded, so you can always come back to it should you need to review a few steps.
All right, so let's dive in. The Corporation for National and Community Service, often referred to as CNCS, was authorized by Congress in 1993 to administer all national service programs in the United States. The two major programs of CNCS are AmeriCorps and Senior Corps. I like to talk about AmeriCorps as an umbrella, with three raindrops or distinct programs, one of which is AmeriCorps VISTA.
AmeriCorps VISTA members, volunteers in service to America, bring their passion and perseverance where the need is greatest, to organizations and agencies that help eradicate poverty. AmeriCorps VISTA members spend 1 year serving full-time as catalysts for change, living and working alongside community members to advance local solutions. Our new tagline is "Go Where You're Needed." Whether in your hometown or across the country, this is a unique chance to improve your life and the lives of others while building communities and building your career.
AmeriCorps VISTA is a lot more than a service opportunity. You'll also be able to build valuable leadership and project management skills while earning an education award or an end-of-service cash stipend. Also, AmeriCorps VISTA members are the only members in the AmeriCorps family that receive 1 year of federal non-competitive hiring eligibility, which provides advantages in the federal hiring process. Finally, you are joining a movement and becoming a part of history. VISTA is over 50 years old, and by joining, you are entering a community with over 2,200,000 passionate individuals who have gone on to careers in every sector of this economy.
Now that you know a little bit more about VISTA, we will guide you through the application process. The AmeriCorps VISTA application consists of 4 steps: creating a profile, creating an application, browsing listings, and submitting your application. In creating your profile, it is important to gather and identify all of the information for your profile in advance, because your progress will not be saved at each step of the profile creation stages. If any step is incomplete, you'll have to start all over.
To begin the application process, head to my.americorps.gov and click on Apply to Serve. If the screen looks like the image on the left, you're in good shape. This will take you to the page on the right titled Create Profile, Step 1 of 4, which prompts you to create your profile. Answer each question field accurately, making sure that you use your legal birth name and social security number.
AmeriCorps VISTA applicants must have one of the following citizenship statuses: U.S. citizen, U.S. national, lawful permanent resident, or persons legally residing in a state that have the following legal residency classifications: refugee, asylum or asylee, temporary protected status, or deferred action for childhood arrivals, or DACA status. If you are legally residing in a state but none of these 4 options apply, you should select I am an asylee. For example, if an applicant has a DACA status or refugee status and is therefore deemed to be a person legally residing in a state, they should nonetheless select I am an asylee and add a comment to the interest questions regarding their status. Choose your status from the drop-down menu and insert your information in the remaining fields, including city and state of birth, sex, and availability. Step 3 asks for residence information. Make sure to use an up-to-date permanent address and not a P.O. box or a college address, as you will be receiving important documentation via mail. Check out the U.S. Postal Service's zip code lookup if you need your zip+4, and we'll post a link in the chat.
Step 4. Step 4 asks about a range of skills and experience including highest level of education, military or veteran status, voter registration, languages spoken, and skills and interests. Note that the skills and interests selected in this step will be further expounded on later in your application. Once you've created your profile, you'll receive a message that will ask you to validate your profile. Be sure to follow the instructions in this message within 72 hours or your profile will be canceled. Next, complete your registration using the information, social security number, last name, etc. that you've entered. There may be a delay of up to 1 hour before the system processes your registration. If you receive a message that reads, "There is no record in the system matching your information," please check the information you entered and try again, or contact the My AmeriCorps hotline by calling 1-800-942-2677. Please wait several minutes and try again.
So at this point, you will be able to log into my.americorps.gov. Before you start applying to positions, you will need to create an application. Once you've logged into your profile, click Applications in the navigation bar, then click Create Application. Note, you can create up to 2 applications, and the application you create is not necessarily specific to one position listing and can be used to apply for up to 10 listings per application. So you can send it to 20 listings in total. We recommend preparing the following materials in advance in order to complete your application: a motivational statement of up to 3,000 characters or no more than 500 words, details of your skills and experience, community service experience, education, your employment history, a criminal history statement if applicable, and at least 2 references including email and physical address.
For this motivational statement, we recommend that you write in a saved Word document so that you can copy and paste right into the question field. In this statement, we would like to understand more about you and the reasons that you have for applying to AmeriCorps VISTA. So please share with us why you would like to serve with AmeriCorps VISTA and also your knowledge of the VISTA program. The statement can be up to 3,000 characters, or as we mentioned, about 500 words. Remember, proofread, proofread, proofread before submitting. In the Skills and Experience section, we are looking for a description of the skills and experience that you've added earlier in the application. This can be up to 200 characters per skill. There is also a field to enter any relevant certificates. A few questions you may want to consider when filling out this section are your skills or descriptions of your skills backed up by previous experience either in work, education, or volunteering? Do the skills and experiences relate to the position or the positions that you've applied for?
In Step 3, you will enter information on all educational institutions you have attended, high school, college, graduate school, etc., including the institution's name and location, your dates of attendance, the major area of study, degrees or certificates granted, and the date of achievement. In Step 4, you'll list the community service you've done and the organizations you have volunteered with, listing your most recent activity first. Your involvement could include serving in neighborhood, school, religious, social, professional, or other volunteer groups, helping out with community service projects, or participating in less formal activities. You will need the organization's name, city, state, phone number, a description of your involvement, and dates of service. Some questions to consider: do you have a well-structured "why do I volunteer" statement? And if you have a community service experience, is it applicable to the position that you are applying for?
In your employment history, make sure that you include your last 4 positions or the last 10 years of your employment history. Be sure to include the organization, city, state, supervisor's name and contact information, your title, duties, reasons for leaving, and the dates of your employment. You will also need to provide an explanation of any gap in employment greater than 6 months not accounted for by AmeriCorps, Peace Corps, work, school, or military service. Or explain why you have no employment history at all. All AmeriCorps VISTA members are required to undergo a background investigation, including a search of the National Sex Offender Public website and an FBI criminal history check, which requires you to submit fingerprints. VISTA investigates for past sexual offenses, violent crimes, and crimes that have direct negative implications on your assignment. If you have ever been convicted of a crime, a list of every conviction you have received is required. It is to your best advantage to be completely honest, and don't feel that this will automatically disqualify you.
In Step 7, we hope to gather information about how you heard about the program as well as your background. The last step of the application is references. List at least 2 people who you know well and who are familiar with your personal background, education, employment, and/or professional skills. You should not ask a family member, peer, classmate, or core worker or friend to serve as your reference. Be sure to have the following information for each reference: their full name, email address, title, mailing address, and telephone number. All references will receive a reference request via email, so be sure to let those references know that you are applying to AmeriCorps VISTA in advance. Once your reference information has been inputted, go to the References page and click the Finish Application button.
Once your application is complete, you can click the Search Listings link, and that can be found on your My AmeriCorps homepage, and then you can apply. If you don't have a specific position in mind, you can choose the right position for you by filtering by program type, selecting AmeriCorps VISTA, and browsing the expansive list. You can also filter by educational level required, metropolitan area, service area, which includes education, health, tribal, veterans, and more. Once you see a position you like, click Apply Now. If you don't see the Apply Now link in the listing, double-check that you are logged into your My.AmeriCorps profile. If after logging in you are still unable to see the Apply Now link, check to see if the project is currently accepting applications. Also, if you find the position that interests you, but you are not quite ready to apply, select Add to Favorites. You can then link this and save it to your Favorites tab. Additionally, if you have any questions specific to a position, you can contact the person associated with the listing in the bottom right corner. Ready to submit? Select the application you wish to submit for that particular listing. Certify everything that you are prompted to, and then click Submit.
Once you've submitted your application to one or more positions, you can view the status of your application by logging into your My.AmeriCorps profile on the home page. There you'll see the status of all your applications.
All right, so we have covered a ton today in a short amount of time. We went over the structure of AmeriCorps VISTA, how to complete a profile, the essential entries for the application, and also how to browse opportunity listings and submit your application. We want to make sure that we get all of your questions answered, but at this time we also have a short evaluation before we move to our Q&A session.
That's right, we want to know what you thought. So on the right side of your screen, you will find a quick poll where you can share feedback about this webinar. Please take a moment to answer the questions. We'd like to improve these webinars, and your input definitely helps us. While you fill out the brief evaluation, I'll invite our operator, Kim, to the line to share how you can ask a question via phone.
Kim?
Thank you. At this time, if you'd like to ask a question, please press *1, and please record your name when prompted. If you'd like to withdraw the question, you may press *2. Again, to ask a question, please press star 1. One moment, please, for the first question.
All right, let's take a look at some of the questions in the Q&A section. So there's a question, do Teach for AmeriCorps members go through the whole process? Our application is different from the Teach for AmeriCorps application.
See what other questions we have.
Were you ready to go ahead? I'm sorry. Were you ready to go ahead and take those? I'm sorry, I apologize.
Sure, sure.
Okay.
If there's a question on the phone, we're definitely ready to take it.
Okay. First question comes from Niraj. Your line is open.
Yes, hello. When does the Corporation for Community and National Service explain the earlier programs that Brian Cognato spoke about? He spoke about things such as field print and the basic, procedure. Remember?
Yeah, this is the wrong number. I think it's okay to let this one go.
Hello? How does the AmeriCorps application duration work?
Okay, we have a question from Janet. Your line is open.
Yes, I was wondering what do you do if you have trouble logging in with your password?
So have you logged in and the password wasn't being accepted? Is that what?
Yes.
And did you try calling the hotline?
Yeah, they gave me a reset password option, and I think I reset it, and then the last time that I did that, it actually said you have used up your 3 attempts, which I hadn't logged in 3 times that day, so it's like if they're remembering a previous password or something like that.
Huh, that's interesting. We haven't experienced anything like that, but let me make a note of it, and we'll be sure to get you all set up for that.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
And the next question comes from Trinice. Your line is open.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I was just wondering, is there any way that we can get a replay on this because I had an appointment that ran over and I missed most of the call?
Sure. So this webinar is actually currently being recorded, and you will receive an email in about a week with the recorded webinar.
Excellent. Thank you so very much.
You're very welcome.
Bye-bye.
And once again, as a reminder, if you'd like to ask a question, please press star 1, and please record your name clearly when prompted.
So I saw a question here. Do I have to join Senior Corps if I'm 55? If I join Senior Corps instead of VISTA, would I still be eligible for college tuition payment? No, you don't have to join Senior Corps if you are 55 or older. Anyone who's over 18 is eligible to join AmeriCorps VISTA, and you can still choose the Education Award. We have another question. I'm currently trying to gain engineering experience in the field. Are there any programs in AmeriCorps that are STEM-related? Yes, we have STEM-related AmeriCorps VISTA listings. If you go onto the website and you go to my.americorps.gov and you browse listings, you can actually filter them to show STEM-related projects.
Let's see. So it looks like a few people are asking about summer opportunities, and we do have a summer associate program with VISTA. Summer associates serve anywhere between 8 and 10 weeks, and summer associates are set up a bit differently. It is more of a direct service capacity than indirect service as the full-time VISTA service opportunity is, but those are also available to apply to, and you can indicate that you are looking for a summer listing when you are browsing your listings. Let's see, I see a question about serving in another AmeriCorps program and whether or not the service hours can be transferred to another program. Unfortunately, that is not something that can happen. VISTA is distinct from the other two AmeriCorps programs, and there are no transferring of hours in that way. Do we have any more questions on the phone?
Yes, we have a question from Raj Patel. Your line is open.
Yes, hello. How does health insurance work with the AmeriCorps program?
So VISTA members can enroll in either a health insurance allowance or a standard health benefit, which allows you to apply for different coverages. There is more information about that I will post in the chat in just one moment.
So does that work in network or out of network?
Can you repeat, please?
Where will the AmeriCorps VISTA member be working?
Where will AmeriCorps VISTA members work? Is that what your question is?
Yeah, what location?
So AmeriCorps actually, VISTA offers positions in all 50 states, including U.S. territories, and our new tagline is actually go where you're needed. And so wherever there are positions open, you can apply, regardless of whether or not that's your hometown. You do have the option to relocate.
Or the employment network?
I'm sorry?
How do you work with the employment network, Social Security? How do
I'm having a very hard time hearing you.
How do they work with Social Security? On your pay stub, there's a Social Security tax. How do they agree with your programs?
Operator, this caller may be a little bit confused. I think we'll probably go on to our next question if there are any.
Okay, one moment, please.
Thank you.
One moment, please, for the next question. The next question comes from John. Your line is open.
Hi. Actually, this is Betsy. I'm John's wife. We're both listening together, and our question is, we want to apply together so that we are located in the same location. How do we go about, when we're making our application out, how do we do that so that we can ensure that we're going to be located at the same place?
Both of you can apply to the same position. Unfortunately, there is no guarantee that you will both be selected for the same position, but my best recommendation would be to just apply to the same position.
And okay, and it doesn't need to be the exact same position. What it does need to be is the same location.
Right, so another thing you can do is when you go to browse listings, target your approach to be in whichever geographical location that you want to serve in, and you both can apply to specific listings that are in the areas you want to serve.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, one moment, please, for the next question. Okay, the next question comes from Latrice. Your line is open. Please go ahead with your question, ma'am.
Hi, yes. Okay, so one of the questions that I had was based off you guys' summer positions and stuff like that. Through AmeriCorps, I know like at my school, you guys come and talk a lot about the programs that you all have going forward, but I wanted to know, do you guys have it set up where with me being in my last year that I can do a summer program before I actually go into AmeriCorps where it connects with my school as a credit?
So you're hoping to serve as a summer associate before serving as a full-time AmeriCorps VISTA? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, I want to do a summer. I would like to do a summer internship with you all before I do my full year.
Okay, you can search for summer listings on our website through the listings, but it sounds like you want your summer associate hours to count for credit. Is that also correct?
Yes.
That is something that I cannot guarantee. There are some some institutions or colleges and universities that do accept VISTA service for college credit, but I'm not positive that your school is one of those. So that is
well, you guys came and spoke to my school, so that's why I was asking, like, how I go about looking for it.
I see. Yeah, I would talk to someone in your registrar's office or your career development center to double check that the VISTA service would count for credit.
Okay.
We do a number of tabling events at colleges and universities.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. The next question comes from Dina. Your line is open. Your line is open. Please go ahead with your question. Okay, there's no response. Again, to ask a question, please press *1, and please record your name when prompted. One moment, please, for the next question.
Really quick, I saw a question about someone who had served in 1994 to 95 and had a profile and asking how to apply for listings. Log into your account and you should check to see if you do have an application that's in my.americorps.gov. If not, create a new application and then you can go ahead and submit that to any of the listings that you're interested in.
All right, I'm seeing another question. I'm a teaching fellow, and if I've already received the educational grant, can I still become an AmeriCorps VISTA member and receive the $6K again? Also, can a member be working in a teaching position? So the education award can be received by anyone for 2 service terms. So you can receive 2 full education awards, and you can serve in any AmeriCorps program for 5 years. That is the max. So yes, you can receive an education award again if you have previously served as an AmeriCorps member, and there is an opportunity for you to have an additional income source, but that second job has to be approved by your supervisor, and it cannot interfere with your AmeriCorps VISTA assignments.
I saw another question about references. Someone said, I applied to one, but I think it was late because I didn't have my references complete in time. As long as you input the information about your references, so their name, email, title, phone number, and address, before submitting your application to a listing, you should be good. So they don't have to do their part before you submit your application.
And we do have a question on the phone. Christina Arisi, your line is open.
Hi. I wanted to ask 2 questions, actually.
Sure.
So I know that some of the listings, they have like different deadlines and whatnot. What would you say is the best time to submit an application so you won't run across where there's limited spots open? And then also, what if a recruiter from like another, from one of the programs reach out to you? Do I still have to submit an application through the website, or can I just submit my application directly to that site?
And the recruiter is recruiting for an AmeriCorps VISTA project?
Yes.
If they're recruiting for an AmeriCorps VISTA specific project, it still has to be through the portal, so
Okay.
my.americorps.gov. And then as far as when the best time is to apply, as long as the listing is accepting applications, I would go ahead and submit it.
Okay.
Alrighty, I'm seeing another question that's about whether or not all of your employers have phone numbers or email addresses. If there is at least one of the two, I would recommend submitting that, and then you can put 555-555 if you want for a phone number type of a thing. But as long as there's at least one form of contact information, you should be good to go. And you can indicate in the comments section that the employer or community service provider does not have an email address or a phone number.
I've seen a lot of questions about which loans the Education Award can be used to pay off. The Education Award can be used to pay off any federal student loans.
You do have another question on the phone. I have Betsy Robinson. Your line is open.
Hi. My question is, can a husband and wife share a position or apply to share the same position?
No, unfortunately, they cannot.
Okay, thank you.
You can apply to the same position, but there is no guarantee that you will both be chosen. This sounds like something that the Peace Corps offers, where you can serve with your spouse. Unfortunately, that is not an AmeriCorps VISTA offering, but you can apply to the same project.
Okay, thank you.
We do have another question on the phone. Gwendolyn, your line is open.
Yes, can you just briefly go over the distinction between AmeriCorps and AmeriCorps VISTA? I'm not clear on it.
Sure. So AmeriCorps is actually an umbrella term. It is the program overall, and there are 3 programs within that. There's AmeriCorps NCCC, AmeriCorps State and National, and AmeriCorps VISTA. So AmeriCorps VISTA is a year of service opportunity where you are paired directly with either a nonprofit or maybe a local government, sometimes a college or university or a tribal community, and you're working with that organization for the year on a particular anti-poverty initiative. State and National, which is often referred to as simply AmeriCorps, is a direct service opportunity, also a year, but it is, if education is the topic, you may be mentoring or tutoring a child, versus VISTA, you, instead of mentoring or tutoring that child, you might instead create the curriculum for the child, or you might train, vet, and screen a volunteer to do said mentoring. And so VISTA is a bit more of a behind-the-scenes or indirect service, whereas State and National is working directly with the population that is affected by the issue. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And once again, if you'd like to ask a question, please press *1, and please record your name when prompted.
I saw a question about motivational statements and what we recommend. We really want to know why you want to serve with AmeriCorps VISTA. So, share any anecdotes you have about service. Yeah.
And I show no further questions on the phone.
Thank you. Let's see. Do you see any other questions, Khadija?
Let's see. I've been in a river. Yes, I'm seeing another question about the length of time, so I'll repeat it again. You can serve in any AmeriCorps program for up to 5 years, and you are able to receive the Education Award twice. After the 2 times that you've received the Education Award, the end of service option that is available to you is the cash stipend. Let's see. If community service type work is a part of an internship or work experience, should I also list it under community service? I think it really is up to you in that case. It seems like it could fit in either place. If you have more work experience than community service experience, I would recommend putting it in the community service category so that you do have a bit of balance between work experience and community service experience, but that is, again, up to you.
I saw a question about applying to various geographical VISTA locations, and does each location have its own page? You can search for each location when you browse, so filter by each location. Let's say you want to serve in DC or California, you can search specifically for DC and search specifically for California, and you can apply to both.
And I see another question. Can you explain the part-time position requirements? Does it also allow you to work another full-time job? So AmeriCorps VISTA really is a full-time service opportunity, and so you can have a part-time job so long as it does not conflict with your AmeriCorps VISTA duties, but another full-time job would probably get in the way of that. So no, you would not be able to work an additional full-time job.
The part-time service opportunities are through AmeriCorps State and National, not with AmeriCorps VISTA. I see another question about searching for specifically summer. Again, when you go to browse the listings, make sure to check off summer associates. Are there any other questions on the phone?
And once again, as a reminder, if you'd like to ask a question, please press *1, and please record your name when prompted. One moment, please. We have a question from Erica. Your line is open.
Yes, I have a question. My question is, if you went to AmeriCorps VISTA for last year, and you don't want to be in AmeriCorps at the same location, but you wanted to work at a different location, how do you, and you'd already applied, I've applied all of the ones, I haven't heard any feedback. Who do I talk to about being a all year round VISTA in another location in the same demographic area?
And sorry, you said that you have applied to other listings?
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I would go. Sorry?
I said, yes, I have applied, but I haven't got any feedback.
What I would do is go to the listing and contact the individual whose information is listed for more information.
Okay, because now if I'm sorry, this is 2 questions. If your area doesn't have any, I mean, that's more, how often do they update the system so I can keep looking and see if there's going to be more places updated for the summer? Because I really was looking for all year round.
So there's not an actual answer to that question, but rolling, I would check like once a week. There are always new listings being posted.
Okay, so it's no supervisor name or information I can get for like the Ohio area, southern East Ohio.
Actually, what I would suggest is you email the state office, and their email for Ohio is oh@cns.gov, and I'll post that in the chat for you.
Oh, you'll post that? Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
And that message is actually the same for all states. All of our state offices can be found by the abbreviation of the state at cns.gov. For example, if it's Maryland, then it would be md@cns.gov. I see another question. Are there specific restrictions on individual sites when being placed? So there cannot be discrimination on applicants based on demographic information, such as age or gender or anything like that. There are, of course, preferences that sites may have, like they may say priority or strongly encouraging Spanish speakers to apply, but there can't be any sort of discrimination because of gender or age or national origin or anything like that.
I saw a question about relocating to serve or serving in a different state and what AmeriCorps VISTA will provide. So if you are traveling more than 50 miles for your service, VISTA offers a limited relocation assistance and settling in allowance. So you can apply to a different state, to a listing in a different state if you so choose. Are there any other questions on the phone?
I show no further questions. And again, as a reminder, if you'd like to ask a question, please press *1.
I'm seeing a question here about the difference between being paid on a salary and being paid on a stipend. So actually, AmeriCorps VISTA members are actually paid a living allowance, and so it is right about where the poverty level is in that particular county. So there is a living allowance, but there is no formal salary or stipend. It is a living allowance that is based on the poverty level of the county that you live in. And this is paid bi-monthly. And I do see some questions about the amount of the education award. So the amount of the education award is actually tied to the Pell Grant. And so whatever the Pell Grant is what the education award is. Right now that is valued at $5,920. And I see another question, is it the same as for the summer? So the summer associates get a prorated education award because it is not a full length of service.
For everyone who's had issues logging into my.americorps.gov, make sure to give the national hotline a phone call, and they should be able to assist you.
I do see a question clarifying what is necessary for the motivational statement. And so in the motivational statement, you want to make sure that, of course, you assess what you want out of the program, right? So what we're looking for is demonstration of your knowledge of not only the VISTA program, but also of your reasoning for wanting to join the program. And so making sure that you do that in about 500 words and up to 3,000 characters. So make sure you're really assessing your professionalism, your motivation, and your maturity as a candidate, and explaining to us why you feel you are the best fit for that individual project.
We do have a question on the phone. Tracy, your line is open.
Yes, my question is about if I was to sign up for City Year, am I able to still do AmeriCorps? And vice versa, are you able to do city year after you do AmeriCorps?
Yes. If you did city year, you can definitely serve another year with AmeriCorps VISTA and vice versa. The only thing that would be different is if you've done 2 full terms of city year, you wouldn't be eligible for a 3rd education award. So you can only get 2 full education awards no matter which AmeriCorps program you serve in. But you can definitely serve in VISTA if you've served in city year, and serve in city year if you've served as a VISTA.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And I have no further questions on the phone.
Here's a good question. Since some of the hosts were participants in AmeriCorps VISTA, how did you manage to work-life balance, and what advice and tips would you give to us? So for me, and for everyone, so AmeriCorps VISTA is full-time service, so it's essentially having a full-time job, and you are serving at whatever is considered a full day at your site that you go to. So for me, it was 9 to 5, and then I also had a part-time job to help me supplement the living allowance. Managing work-life balance, really for me, I'm someone who needs to kind of write down and plan ahead, and so using those organization tips definitely helped me get work-life balance. What about you, Khadija?
Yeah, I served in my hometown, Silver Spring, Maryland, and I knew that I wanted to have my loans paid off at or close to the end of my service, and so I lived at home with my parents while I served as a VISTA, and so that was my main goal. Work-life balance is something I'm great at. Personally, I recommend that you of course, maintain good relationships with your coworkers, but also make sure that you don't burn out. Make sure that you save some time for, your regular social activities, and also get your VISTA assignments taken care of as well.
We do have a question.
Oh, go for it.
I apologize. We have a question on the phone from Victoria. Your line is open.
Hi, yes, I have a question about the application with the criminal history questionnaire. What if your juvenile records have been sealed? Do you still need to disclose this?
Yes.
Because I know it asks about juvenile records as well.
Yes, if they're sealed, you still have to disclose, but in your description, you can say that they are sealed.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. I see that there's another clarifying question about the education award. So I mentioned earlier that the amount of our education award is tied to the Pell Grant. So it is tied in that the amount of the education award is the same. However, if you already are eligible to receive a Pell Grant, your receipt of the education award does not affect that.
I saw a question about verifying community service. Rick, you talked about being on a PTA board. What I would suggest is in the skills section, if you got any leadership skills or teamwork skills from being on the board, talk about it there, and then in the community service section, add experience that you have that does have proper information that can be used to verify.
Let's see, I see a question. Is there a place on the application to include previous AmeriCorps terms served? Also, should that be included when listing previous work experience? I think that's a unique one that can be added in either work experience or community service.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's see. Are the educational awards the same for 55 years and older? Yes. So there is no upper age limit with the AmeriCorps VISTA program, and everybody 18 and older receives the same education award, regardless of age. And I do see a question about serving in your hometown. If you serve in your hometown, can you still receive the living stipend? Of course. You still receive the living stipend regardless of where you choose to serve. Whether you choose to relocate or serve in your hometown, you receive the living allowance.
What you won't receive is a relocation allowance. Here's an interesting question. What does the day-to-day work life look like for an AmeriCorps VISTA? It really, really depends on the individual project. I know for me, some days I'd be working on grant writing. Other days I would be meeting with local officials. Other days I would be meeting with the community members and giving presentations. It really changes. What about you, Khadija?
So I actually had 4 other AmeriCorps VISTA members in my cohort. And so my day-to-day was actually pretty interesting. I was serving on a project that was called Service Works, and what we were tasked with doing is essentially creating curriculum to be taught by skilled trainers to educate 16 to 24-year-olds on the importance of volunteer service as a strategy to acquire soft skills that will make them more marketable for their college or career pursuits. And so it included a lot of visits to schools and local community organizations, getting them to understand the importance of volunteer service and also understanding the AmeriCorps VISTA program overall, and really getting us to be able to talk to their students or members about what Service Works provided and allowing them to get a better grasp of the program so that they could be a part of it. So my day-to-day was very much, liaising between different community organizations or different community partners, sometimes soliciting different businesses for donations for public events that we were hosting. It really all was a mixed bag, I would say. We have time for about 2 more questions. Let's see if I can find one that will apply to most people when I attend.
Really quick, I see one that says, does VISTA members do construction, rebuilding? No, VISTA members do not do direct service, but you might be planning a build day for a community garden, for example.
I see another question that says, how much would you receive if you don't have any federal education loans? So the 2 end-of-service options for you are the Education Award and the end-of-service stipend. The Education Award can be used for a number of things, including paying off existing federal loans. So you don't have to use the Education Award for loans, but regardless of if you have loans or not, you would receive the same amount, and that right now is $5,920. All right, I see one more question. Do you have to apply online? So yes, all of our applications are processed online. That is where you will find the listings. There are additional requirements that the individual project you apply to may have, such as submitting a resume or cover letter, and that is something that's specific to that project. Alrighty, I'm seeing no more questions. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope that you will apply to AmeriCorps VISTA. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at vistaoutreach@cns.gov.